Hey everybody, it's just me. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be an amazing story time day. I want to talk a little bit about my childhood. I had a very active, very thrilling, very fun childhood. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. So, have you ever done things as a kid that today's parents would literally ball and chain you to your bedroom until you're 30? If some young parents knew what their grandparents bought your mom and dad as kids, they would probably disown them. So that's part of the video today. How dangerous was my childhood, my notes. So, what I was talking about was if my kids ever thought that my parents bought for my brother and I for Christmas the game of jarts. Now, jarts was a steel peg with a steel point with fins on it. Now, yeah, everybody knows what a bow and arrow will do. When you shoot a bow and arrow towards anything, it will puncture and destroy. Well, a jart was like a huge arrow that you were throwing at people. Oh, wait a minute. No, you weren't throwing it. People were standing behind a big plastic ring, and you were throwing it towards that person to go into the ring. You are throwing a steel dart at another person behind the ring. That was it. If somebody threw it up into the air and did a bad throw and went straight up, everybody would split. But, you know what? We had fun playing it. It was fun. It was dangerous, but it was fun. We played for it for a long time. Another thing that my brother and I liked to play with was a logging hook. Out of my grandparents' farm, we'd take a logging hook and we'd throw it up on the roof. See if we can't get that hook to go up on the roof, and there's a big old chain on it. And then when we got done, then we'd try to jerk it as far as we can to see how far the hook would fly. But we did that for quite a while, and my brother did it, and he didn't quite jerk it that hard, and that logging hook came down and hit him on top of the head. So, cracked his head open. Got a couple of stitches, and went home, had ice cream, and we were good to go. No concussion, no nothing like that. Another thing that we did all the time when we were kids was we climbed trees. I don't care where we were. If there was a tree that was going to climb it, I was on it. My brother, not so much. My grandparents' farm, I was on the trees. When I was in Scouts, I was up in the trees. When I was camping, I was up in the trees. I loved climbing trees. I would climb up the trees so high that literally the tree would start swaying. And the branches would be just heavy enough to hold me. I mean, I loved it. My mom would come out and say, "Hey, down a foot." That's what she did. "Hey, down a foot." She didn't say, "Get down from there." She said, "Get down a foot." Okay, down a foot. Then I'd climb back down and then dangle by my knees. It was fun. Just climbing trees. I'd climb trees and sit there and watch the squirrels play. I mean, why not? It's life. I'd climb trees and pick an apple. My mom would climb trees to pick apples. My brother would climb trees to pick apples all the time. We'd climb trees to pick cherries. Just so we could have a treat. I mean, if we did that today, and everybody could be able to go out and climb trees and pick fruit, we'd probably get rid of a lot of our obesity problem. Another thing that we had was a big old tire stack. I think there must have been at least 40 tires tall. So if you take 40 car tires or 40 truck tires and stack them all the way up, I think when we measured that, it was about 30 feet into the air. And we literally had it stacked 30 feet into the air. We'd stand on top of our clubhouse. There was an old cow shed. And we'd just continue stacking. We'd take a step ladder and we'd stack it up. And then me and my buddies would go and climb all the way up and then try to get it all the way down in the middle. And then try to knock the tire stack over. And we'd call that like meteor shower. We'd have tires everywhere. Then we'd just go and roll them and we'd do it all over again. I mean, be pouring down rain, and that stack would be there, and the inside of the tires would be all filled with water, and it would stink. We'd still go in there and play. It'd smell like old tires with water. Oh well. Another thing that we do is we ride in the back of a truck bed. Dad's going down to the river. Dad's going down to the store. We jump in the back of the truck bed, and back of the truck in the open bed. Hang out and just let the air go through our hair. That was fun. Dodging the occasional tree branch. You never wanted to sit on the right. You always wanted to sit on the left. But that was a fun thing to do. I mean, we'd ride in the back of the pickup all the way to our grandparents' house on the freeway. Another thing that people like to do back in the 80s and 90s to play tricks on younger teenagers, you're going out and you're hanging out with them, and there's a cigarette lighter. I pulled out the one that I have in the truck. There's a cigarette lighter, and then right in between there, you see that little coil. And a lot of times, somebody would take a penny and stick the penny in that. And then they put it in there, and then they make contact. And then that penny would get hot. And they said, well, if you want the penny, you can have the penny. And being an idiot, because we all know about penny candy, we'd go in and we'd touch red hot copper. I mean, I don't have any scars on my fingers. But I learned only once. I never did it again. I touched a hot penny. And I learned to tell about it. I even told my mom and dad about it. They said, oh, you're an idiot. I said, yeah, I guess I was an idiot. Another thing that we did was branding. There was a couple Boy Scouts that... My notes. There's a couple Boy Scouts that would go and find a poker, and we'd do branding right there at the campfire. Scoutmaster would say, okay, they're going to learn. They nursed that burn for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I think one of them still has a scar left from that branding. Other things that we did when we were kids that was young and stupid, we would jump high off of a cliff and into shallow water. They still do it today. We would try and take a skateboard and a tow rope from the back of a boat and wrap it on the back of a pickup truck and go flying down the road with it on the back of a skateboard. And bicycles, who cares what kind of a condition it is, as long as you can be able to ride it, let's go. I had a bicycle that had no brakes and the handlebars were stripped. I mean, they just wobbled, no brakes. And these were the type of brakes. This was a freewheel bike, so when you went backwards, you weren't going to stop. And without the leverage of the handlebars, you couldn't do a bunny hop skid stop. So basically, if you went down a hill, you better pray that you can be able to stop once you get down to the bottom of that hill. Well, of course, I learned my lesson on that, and I never did it again. I went into a barbed wire fence. I was cut all over the place. I didn't have any scars. I laughed to tell about it. Everybody said that I was one crazy kid. Okay, we had fun. It was a fun childhood. We enjoyed our pew-pews, and we took knives, and we threw knives at boards, and we took tomahawks and threw tomahawks, and blew off fireworks, and turned model rockets into fireworks, and made bonfires, and we did all kinds of crazy, dangerous things, and we lived to tell about it. We've fried bacon on a metal slide in the middle of the summertime, just to see if we could do it. It was that hot. And then after we've done frying bacon, then we'd hose it down, and then the next day the slide's white hot again, and we're sliding down it, just because we want to feel our tushes get burnt. Okay, we never learned. And then they had the big old merry-go-round. I mean, there's a couple of those around still today. And we try and find the biggest bully in the neighborhood and say, hey, I dare you, I bet you can't turn this thing fast enough to be able to all fly off. I swear that every bully we told that to on the playground, that every big kid that we told that to on that playground, all the way up until high school, did everything they could to get it as fast as they can. One day, they almost did it. So there was this one kid that we had that went to the playground that we went to all the time, and he was taunted all the time. And he was successful a couple times. He'd get it to go fast enough where gravity will fling everybody off, and everybody would jump back on him and get him going again. But he liked it. He got a workout. But one day he was trying to get back at us. There was like at least a dozen of us that said he never knocked us off. Well, we didn't know what he had planned that day. And he went back over to his house. His house was across the street. And he came back over on a mini bike. So what is he doing with that thing? And he took that back tire and he put it onto that merry-go-round. And then he went full throttle. That sucker was going 60 miles an hour. It was like a centrifuge. Man, we held on for our life, and it was fun. Oh my God, we had so much fun. I think he only knocked 2 people off. After that, he never did it again. He said, "You guys are hopeless, useless. I can't get you off of this damn thing. I'm done. I retired." After that, we tried to do a few more, and then, we lost interest. But we did dangerous stuff. And when we got injured, we got hurt, we learned our lesson. Today, parents are wrapping kids up in bubble wrap. How can they learn a lesson how to survive on their own or survive in life if they can't get injured? Even in the wild, when a cub gets injured, it learns how to tend to itself until it's healed so it can be able to live. But today we are losing that. We're losing that message. We're losing that silent message. We're losing that instinct. So I kind of wanted to share that today because, that was a fun part of my childhood. That was probably one of the biggest things that I learned as a kid, so that I was more safety conscious when I was an adult. And with my kids, if they get injured, cool. I say, "What'd you learn?" They tell me what they learned, and we got on with life. So I figured I'd share that with you. I figured you guys would enjoy that in today's video. If you ever did any dangerous things when you were a kid, let me know in the comment section below. If you want to say that I had a great time when I was a kid, let me know in the comment section below. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. Until next time, keep on rocking.